This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review with your NFL Week 9 betting preview. We'll run down every single game on this week's NFL slate, beginning at the top of the rotation order with Jacksonville taking on Kansas City. The Jacksonville Jaguars trying to get off the schneid and bounce back. This team has just been awful. Only 2 wins on the season. They've lost 2 straight against Oakland and Tennessee. Just got absolutely bombarded by the Titans. Were down big early in that game. And never could recover. Of course, Jacksonville now trying to find a scapegoat for their problems. They fire their offensive coordinator, hoping that makes a difference for this team. I don't know. Is a new offensive coordinator going to stop Blake Bortles from making bonehead decisions in the red zone all the time? Is it going to stop him from treating the football like a fucking hand grenade week after week? Excuse my language. I mean, my goodness. I mean, this guy's been absolutely awful in terms of decision making and reading opposing defenses. You keep waiting for him to discover this potential that he had when the Jaguars drafted him, but it hasn't happened yet. And on the flip side, we've got Kansas City with some offensive changes. Nick Foles, of course, in at quarterback this week for the injured Alex Smith. It looks like Spencer Ware at running back. Not going to be able to play it either for this game. So definitely we've got a situation here with Kansas City. New quarterback and both of their running backs, Jamal Charles and Spencer Ware, banged up. So very interesting game. Not a game I have any interest getting involved with. I could make a slight case for Jacksonville, maybe at more than a touchdown, but that number's come down. It's about 7 across the board. I cannot trust Jacksonville right now, given the situation they're in. But at the same time, Kansas City's not a team I'm looking to lay a touchdown with. I mean, look at their last home game against New Orleans. Saints score late, get in the back door. So clearly a game I'm going to leave alone. Maybe the slightest of leans to the over at 44 in this game if Jacksonville can show some sort of uptick with their offensive execution now with a new coordinator. But just a lean there. Coming up, Detroit, Minnesota, next game up. I will not be looking at the Lions here. This is a circle the wagon spot for Minnesota. They're off back-to-back terrible performances, especially offensively against Chicago and Philadelphia. They're 2 straight losses. Norv Turner steps down. You just Pat Shurmur taking over as the offensive coordinator there. Another team with an offensive coordinator change. But I don't know if I can lay 6 with Minnesota. I just can't. Not with this offense right now. This offensive line stinks. They can't run block. They can't pass protect. Sam Bradford's been under duress time and time again in the pocket. I can't do it. The spot tells me I can only back Minnesota here because I think they come out fired up. This home stadium is not one I'm interested in betting against the Vikings in. This is a legitimate home field edge for them. That crowd is as loud as it gets in the NFL. It's been proven that way so far. But I just don't know if I can lay this many points with that much of a struggle from their offense right now. Their defense is capable of scoring touchdowns and their special teams as well, making plays defensively. But I just don't know if I can lay 6 here. So I'll lean to the Vikings, but it's not going to be a game that makes my betting ticket this week. Philadelphia and the Giants. Great spot for the Giants. I mean, the Giants really, when you look at what they've gone through, had a monster of a schedule early in the season. Lots of tough games. The travel to London to play the LA Rams before their bye week. Baltimore, Green Bay, Minnesota. You know, some pretty good teams that they played early in the season. Divisional game against Washington. Now you come back home. You're playing the Philadelphia Eagles. You finally get some preparation and practice time with the bye week, which certainly should help this team. Definitely a good sign for them. Philadelphia is a weird team to me. I don't know yet what to make of them. It's a tough spot for them. It's a spot advantage clearly for the Giants here. Rested and ready at home off a bye. Philadelphia off a crushing loss in overtime, a game they shouldn't have lost. They were up by 10 against Dallas. The offense did move the football late in that game, and I'm starting to worry a little bit about this offense, and Carson Wentz in particular. Had a decent enough game, but when the game was on the line, did not make the plays when he had to ensure the Eagles won that game. That's definitely a concern moving forward. Maybe it's something that this fresh Giants team is able to take advantage of. So I will lean to the Giants here, -2.5 in this game. I'll probably actually have a small bet on them. I do think it's a much better spot for them at home off the bye at less than a field goal. I'll probably have some kind of bet on New York, -2.5. Dallas taking on Cleveland. This could be the week to back the Cleveland Browns. I know Dallas has been great. I know Dallas, with Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, that offense continues to make plays with the games on the line. But this is as big a flat spot as you can imagine. They play Pittsburgh on deck. They're coming off a huge comeback divisional home win in prime time against the Eagles last week in overtime. Now you got to go on the road, face the winless Browns. And the Browns keep bringing effort week in and week out. They don't always play well. They don't always execute, but they give you that effort week in and week out. Cody Kessler will be the quarterback for this game, and I think he's played well in his tenure as the starting quarterback with the Browns. And this just has that making of a game where Dallas is a little bit flat, just doesn't have that energy, doesn't have that intensity. A little lack of focus, and we've seen Dallas in these spots before, on the road against a bottom feeder, laying significant points, really struggle to win the game at all, let alone win by margin. I don't know if that team's got the maturity yet to deal with a spot like this where they're coming off such a huge win against the Eagles. So I think Cleveland +7 is a good bet this week. I do. And I would also lean over the total, 48.5, 49. The one concern is Dallas is one of the slowest pace offenses in the NFL, but I do think they should be able to score points against Cleveland's very suspect defense. But I think Cleveland can move the ball against Dallas, dealing with some cluster injuries. Barry Church, Morris Claiborne, a couple guys not likely to play for the Cowboys in this game. So definitely a chance for the Browns to be able to put some points up and move the ball. And Corey Coleman, speedster wide receiver, back from injury. That's going to help that Cleveland offense as well. So lean Browns, lean over the total in that game. Jets in Miami. Miami, another team off a bye week this week, much like the Giants at home. And I think this Miami team might be a team to back and ride a little bit. I think there's some money to be made with this team. Adam Gase, you give him now a week of practice and prep time to get Ryan Tannehill in this offense even better. I think that's a good sign. And they're facing a Jets defense that's been a major disappointment. They haven't been good against the pass. They've been all right against the run, but Miami's offensive line has been able to pass protect and run block every defense they've played since they got all their starting offensive linemen back and intact as a unit since the Pittsburgh game. And we've seen the results. They've scored big points in each of their last two wins against Buffalo and Pittsburgh. I think Miami, the better of these two teams right now, better form. Jets beat Baltimore and Cleveland, big deal. Now you got to go on the road for a second straight game. I would lean Miami -3.5 and also over. I think we get points in that game as well. Both offenses, I think the better unit on both teams. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, no line yet widely available. It does look like Ben Roethlisberger, though, is going to play in this football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, that's a big boost. Probably not a game I'm going to get involved with in the end, but obviously Pittsburgh is going to be chomping at the bit, wanting to get back in the win column. New Orleans, San Francisco. I'm not endorsing San Francisco at this point, not at all. The question is, can you lay more than a field goal with New Orleans? I mean, on the road, their defense is still a little bit suspect. If I had to bet it, I'd lean New Orleans. Also, over the total makes some sense. San Francisco, I don't know why. They have no playmakers. Colin Kaepernick is awful, yet Chip Kelly wants to hammer this up-tempo, fast-paced offense down everyone's throat. They keep running at a pretty good clip from a pace perspective. I think it's to their detriment because that defense goes on the field too long. Without Navarro Bowman, they've not been able to make stops, so that game probably should be higher scoring as well. Carolina taking on Los Angeles. Great spot for the Rams now, rested off a bye from the London game, but does that win for Carolina against Arizona, for a team that's massively underachieved this season, does it get them going a little bit? That's the big question mark going into this game. Carolina's still the better team. I probably lean to the Panthers, but the spot is just so much better for LA that I'm going to lay off that game. Indy, Green Bay, what's still shocked that the Indianapolis Colts last week were as bad as they were against the Chiefs. You came off a nice win against Tennessee. You rallied to win that game. You look like you're building momentum. And then you lay an absolute egg, a stinker, a clunker at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. The offense was awful. I don't know what happened to Andrew Luck and the Colts offense. They didn't move the ball at all against the Chiefs. Now you got to go on the road. Green Bay now off that loss to Atlanta. They're going to be motivated, and I like the positive signs I saw from Green Bay's offense. Aaron Rodgers looked like he got a little of his swagger back, a little of his mojo back. Could be bad news for this Colts defense. Could only lay the points with the favorite in this game. And another game where, from a totals perspective, lean over before I lean under. Tennessee, San Diego. The Chargers have fought the good fight. You look at the last 3 weeks, divisional home win against Denver, huge comeback overtime win on the road against Atlanta. big, intense game against Denver, playing them again last week on the road, but they fall short. Is the gas tank running low for this team this week? That's a concern. There's also a concern that they're without Hunter Henry at tight end. He's not likely to play. He's been a huge target in the red zone for Phillip Rivers in this Chargers offense. Big target, big weapon with all the other injuries to the likes of Keenan Allen and Danny Woodhead. This offense has already suffered. Could be a problem. Tennessee is this is the role I like Tennessee in. Road underdog, catching points. Marcus Mariota and the Titans, well rested. They played last Thursday, so extra time to prepare for this game. We'll get back to this game for play of the week in the NFL at the end of this video. Denver-Oakland, convinced it's a great game to bet because I could make cases for both sides. Trevor Siemian on the road. He's been spotty at best. I'm not sure I trust him. Aqib Talib in the secondary. It doesn't look like he's going to play for Denver due to injury. That could be an area Oakland might be able to exploit with Talib out of there, even though Bradley Roby's played pretty good in his absence, including an interception last week against San Diego. Great game. I think there's value in the number with Denver. If I had to lean this game, Sunday night game, lean Denver, especially after the initial move toward Oakland, but this is Oakland at home. They haven't had a home primetime game in forever. It's a bit of a statement game for them. So for that reason, I'm going to lay off it. But I think there is value in Denver now that they're a plus 1.5, 2-point dog in this game. Now that there's been a big-time flip of favorites from Oakland, or from Denver as a road favorite, now to Oakland as a home favorite. Buffalo, Seattle, the Monday nighter. In this game, it's pretty simple. Seattle off a loss, obviously, to New Orleans. Their defense was really tired at the end of that game. You would think they're going to come out here with a pretty strong effort back home against the Buffalo Bills. They tied Arizona. They lost against New Orleans. So you can say they haven't won in 2 straight games. So I think they're going to bring a home run effort. And how good is Buffalo, really? Their wins where they started to get on a roll were against the Rams, who were depleted injury-wise on the D-line, San Francisco, who's terrible, and really, that's about it. I mean, then they come back against Miami, have a big lead, they blow it, they lose that game, and then against New England, completely non-competitive. Tom Brady and the Patriots last week did whatever they wanted against the Bills. And of course, the other big win Buffalo had was the first time they played New England with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, with a bad hand. I mean, my goodness, talk about non-impressive victories for Buffalo, and we're starting to see that those wins were fool's gold for the Bills. It wasn't a sign this team is a better football team. Just got the right team at the right time. This is still an average football team as far as I'm concerned, and they're walking into maybe a little bit of a hornet's nest here. Would not be willing to trust the Bills, even catching a full touchdown on the road here in Seattle on Monday. All right, let's wrap it up. Play of the week for Week 9 in the NFL. We're going back to the Titans-Chargers game. They've been good in this road underdog role. They beat the Lions as a road dog this year outright. They beat Miami as a road dog outright this year, and I think they give the Chargers everything they can handle, if not maybe steal an outright win in this one. Let's take Tennessee plus 4.5, rotation number 469. Titans plus 4.5 against San Diego, your Week 9 NFL play of the week. All right, that'll wrap it up. I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. Enjoy the NFL games this weekend, and good luck.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.